Hi guys. All right, we're gonna do a quick and dirty review, and I'm not moving this camera. It is in place and it's staying there, and all the blood is rushing to my head. So quick and dirty, let's get into this review on transformations. All right guys, let's do this. For translation, that is the first transformation that we're gonna review. For translation, we are going to, our instructions say move 2 down and 3 to the left. So what that means is we're going to start with any point on here. We're not using wax paper for this. We don't need it. All we have to do is be able to count. So this says 2 down, 3 left. Pick a point. I'm gonna start with B because it kind of sticks out from the edge. It looks easy to me. So I'm gonna start with B and I'm gonna go count 2 down, 1, 2, and then I'm gonna count 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. This is my new point for B. We call that B prime. That little apostrophe means prime, B prime. So that's my new point for that. Now I have to repeat that for all the other points. I'm gonna do that real quick. You watch. I'm gonna count 2 down, 1, 2, and 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. It's my new A prime. D, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 to the left, point D prime. Doesn't matter what order I go in. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. C, that's C prime. Now I have all of these lines. I forgot to get a ruler to set this up, so I'm just gonna very carefully, don't try this at home. Kids, use a ruler. There we go, I have my new shape. This is my image. Pre-image, the OG, and then this is my image. That's my copy. Next, that was translation. Anytime, last time, if you know, up, down, left, right, if you're sliding it, that's translation. All right, next, reflection. Again, we're not using wax paper on this because you won't always have wax paper. Wax paper is just to help you get an idea for it. Reflection. Reflection is like if you look in a mirror, you're reflecting the object. If you're looking into a pool of water or something where a really shiny car or a spoon, I don't know, whatever, anything that has a reflective surface, the image gets copied over, just kind of facing the other direction. So for this one, all we're gonna do is count the squares again. Pick any point. I'm gonna start with C because it's the closest to my y-axis, and that's what it says, to reflect over the y-axis. So that means, here's my y, I'm going to basically flip this image over to this side. I guess it's a pre-image really. I'm gonna flip this shape over to this side. So C is 1, 2, 3 spaces away from the y-axis. So then I'm going to count 3 spaces away on the other side of the y-axis. 1, 2, 3. That is now C prime. All right, if we were flipping over the x-axis, if that's what it asked, then we would be counting away from the x-axis. But this says y. All right, D, point D. 1, 2, 3. So we're gonna count 3 over the y-axis onto the other side. 1, 2, 3. You can pretend that the axis that you're flipping over is your mirror, or that's the surface of the lake that you're looking at, whatever you're reflecting over, okay? So this is where your new image is gonna be. It's gonna look exactly the same, just kind of reversed. Now I can just connect these dots. In this case, we're making a shape. If it tells you to do something with a shape, like reflect a shape or translate a shape, then draw the shape. If it doesn't, and it tells you just points, and the points weren't connected on that original image, if those points weren't already connected, you don't connect them. Do whatever you're copying, okay? Don't add your own flair to it. This is not the place to add your own flair. All right, again, use a ruler at home, kids, but that, you get the idea, okay? Quick and dirty, like I said. All right, that's reflection. See how it reflected over? Just like we're looking at a mountain lake or a fjord. Okay, rotation. Rotation, we're gonna give you wax paper for rotation on this because rotation, in my mind, is the trickiest to kind of get the hang of. And really, most of what you're going to be doing is identifying rotation, but we're going to go over it real quick just to make sure everybody is clear on what we're doing. Here is my pre-image. If you're rotating, remember, think of the way a clock moves, the hands on a clock. Clockwise, because it goes the way a clock goes, or counterclockwise, because it's backwards to how a clock goes. This point, I'm going to put the wax paper over this, and these points I already drew, so I already have them matched up. But when you're doing your points, you want to make sure, and I gotta reline it up. You want to make sure that you mark your points. Also, that you put a little plus or something right here as a reference when you go to turn this. I need a different pen, because otherwise when you go to rotate, you're not going to know where the heck you're going and where to stop. So if you use a little, see how I put like a little plus there that matched up? Let's pretend I was drawing this from scratch. Then I would do, whoop, and I moved it. You got to be careful to hold it still. That's why this isn't like an accuracy tool. This is a tool just to help you visualize. I would draw my dots and I would label them, and then I would draw my little plus right there as a reference. So we rotated 90 degrees. There it is. Okay, that's where my points should be. So then I can press through the wax paper. To make sure I got my new dots. Okay? And so then looking at this, I can tell this was my A prime, this was B prime, and this was C prime. Okay, now I can connect. I hate not using a ruler. It makes me crazy. I'm gonna ask my producer to hand me a ruler real quick. Thanks. Okay, because this, that shape gave me trouble, and that's okay, that's gonna happen. Not everything is gonna work out perfectly every time, and so then you just keep trying, all right? And there is my new shape, okay? And we'll just color over that, so we pretend that that bad line didn't even happen, and there is your new shape. I told you this was quick and dirty, guys. We got no time for second takes on this. All right, so we rotated that 90 degrees clockwise. There you go. All right, last one. Last thing we have is dilation. Dilation just means that you are either enlarging or reducing the size of your shape. So in this case, I drew a rectangle and I marked down the ordered pairs for each point, and I reduced this by a scale factor of 1/2, which means that this red square is half the size of this, or rectangle, excuse me, is half the size of this purple rectangle, okay? And two ways you can do that, one way you can do that, look at your point is, if this one says 4/14, well, we're reducing it by 1/2. So what's half of 4? 2. What's half of 14? 7. Remember, to get half, you're dividing by 2. So whatever your original number was, like 4 divided by 2 is 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 10, okay, if we put that there, divided by 2 is 5. All right, so you have that. The other way you can do it, if you have a grid and if it allows, then you could count the number of spaces. So for instance, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares across, which means that half of that should be 3 squares. 1, 2, 3 squares. And then you could do the same with the length as well as the width. All right, remember that if the object goes from small to larger, then that is an enlargement, and if it goes from large to small, you're reducing it, that's a reduction. So whenever you're doing a scale factor, let's look at these notes. Whenever you do a scale factor, whether it's enlarging or reducing, you're going to multiply by that scale factor. Okay, so in this case, with these two rectangles, we multiplied by 1/2. Now, because 1/2 is a proper fraction, okay, meaning a fraction with a smaller number on top of a larger number, then we can flip it around and we can divide by the reciprocal. All that means is we can flip the fraction upside down and we can divide by whatever that bottom number is. So for example, to multiply by 1/2, that's the same as dividing by 2. All right, so to multiply by 1/3 is the same as dividing by 3. That's all you need to know for that. Now, if it says that you're going to change the size of your image by, 10, by a scale factor of 10, that means you have to multiply by 10, and it would be 10 times bigger. That's what that means. All right, hopefully this answered all of your questions, and if you have any more questions, then ask your friendly neighborhood teacher. All right, that's all I got. Bye.